Hey guys, Huzz here. Now, before this video begins, I just thought I'd give it a bit of an intro because it's something new that I've never uploaded to the channel. So recently on Twitch, a lot of people have been asking, can I do op.gg reviews? And we're starting to do them. Basically, it's for either tier 2 Twitch subs, or if you just donate a certain amount, then I will do a review. And I'm probably going to do it like twice a month, that I dedicate like an hour or half an hour to it. This is the first time that I'm doing it, and people in the Twitch chat said, hey, upload it to the channel. Even if people these aren't people's profiles that they're watching, there's a lot of stuff that is familiar with people, and you can apply it to yourself. So I thought I'd start there. I also will say that I'm fairly open and honest with people, and if I think someone is just being a bit of a troll in their ranked games, I will just say that to them. But yeah, hopefully you guys will enjoy this. If you want to see more of this and make it maybe more of a regular thing, throw a like on the video, and that'll mean I know. And what we'll do is in the comments down below, somebody that just does a really interesting comment or something like that, I will pick at random, or not random, I'll pick a good comment, and I will invite you to the replay analysis series for next episode, if there is one. So make sure you throw a like, leave a comment down below, and I'll pick somebody to do a review for next episode. So yeah, enjoy. Alright, so, op.gg reviews, just to kind of say, they're good and not good at the same time. So what I'm going to say here is just general advice. I wouldn't take it to like 100% heart because I don't know you. I don't know your playstyle. I don't know you as a person. So basically, I need to I'm just looking at a blank canvas, and it's up to you to kind of take. It's up to you to kind of take what you want from it, is what I'd say. So again, if you ever put yourself up to these, then don't feel offended about them. I'm just going to say it as it is. So the first thing straight away, obviously, this is bottom of the barrel. This is bronze 5. You know, the top 98% of the game. And the first champion that we already see is Tryndamere in the jungle. And, you know, Tryndamere's not a jungler. So, yeah. This might be a bit spicy. So, if you want one of these, we're going to be doing these for maybe the next 10 to... It depends how many people do it. Like, we've got maybe 2 or 3 of them to do at the moment. But it's either donate $10 with your op.gg playstyle link, or be a tier 2 Twitch subscriber. Those are the 2 ways. But anyway, let's get into it, shall we? Let's change that to ranked only, because that's all we're interested in. So, Bronze 5. Last season was Bronze 2. The Bronze 2 Season 6. Bronze 4, 77 LP. And obviously now is Bronze 5, probably from the placements. This guy isn't the sub, but he donated the $10 in order to get into the thing in total. He gave some bits and then $5. So, what's going on here then? So, we already have a game that DC'd, or like AFK'd. That's not a good sign. 1-16, 2-12. So let me just quickly look myself, and then I'll kind of just say what I see. Okay, the first thing I see is you're playing way too many champions for a Bronze 5 player. Hopefully this guy is here, but you're playing way too many champions for a Bronze 5 player. Like, again, not meaning to offend, but Bronze 5 players are the worst players in the game. You shouldn't be trying to play crazy amounts of stuff. You're simply not good enough to do that. Limit the champion pool down. Like, you've got some higher games here, but like this list goes on forever. Like, look how many champions you are playing. You're in total, so far in the season, I played 56 champions. That's way too many for a Bronze 5 player. Way too many. You're talking a Bronze 5 player, in my opinion, should have 10 champions that they should be playing. So that's the first thing. Lower the amount of champions you're playing. Second thing is, what's up with Smite? Like, what are you jungling Annie? Like, are you jungling Tryndamere? Do you just take Smite on everything? What's going on? Like, you're either trolling or I have no idea. So that's just worth noting, is I don't really know what's going on with the Smite. Your deaths are really high too. Okay, so you think your champ choice is better than last season? Yeah, you still need to lower it a lot. Again, one thing I will say, dude, and this is going to sound harsh, don't argue back as a Bronze 5 player. If you're going to argue back as a Bronze 5 player, there is no point you even trying to have an op.gg review. You're uncoachable if you're trying to argue back as a Bronze 5 player. That's the first thing I want to say. Again, this is why I say I've got to be serious here. I'm not going to try to offend you, but you have to take things, you know, There's a reason why you're bronze 5, we'll put it that way. So the first thing is lower the amount of champions, go down to like 10. Stop playing, like, you've got... When was the last time you played the same champion twice in a row? So, like, Tryndamere, Annie, Darius, Elise, Jax, Vi, Elise, Annie, Wukong, Annie. Where's your consistency? Where is 2 games in a row that you played the same champion? Here, 6 days ago, you played Annie and Annie back-to-back. That's the only time you've done it. You're not going to gain much consistency only doing that, like, once. When's another time you did that? You haven't done it. Okay, here, Mordekaiser. So, a week ago, you had 2 Mordekaiser games in a row. You're not going to gain consistency by just jumping on different champions every single game. Like, yes, you may look at YouTubers doing that, but this is where it's dangerous looking at YouTubers or streamers when you're in Bronze 5. You need to kind of have realistic goals for yourself and kind of just be realistic and kind of go, I need to play the same stuff. Even, you know, don't be a one-trick or anything, but have like 10 champions main and just stick with those champions until you get out of Bronze 3. You're not going to leave Bronze 5 or even low Bronze, the thing that you're doing. Second thing is I have no idea what you're doing in the jungle. If these are legit jungle games, again, either you're not looking to climb or you just simply don't know what's going on. Don't jungle Tryndamere. Don't jungle Annie. Jungle Annie again. It's crazy. Like, again, you're playing some odd picks. So there's some remakes going on. So, like... Don't do anything dumb like that. Again, you're not going to climb. You know, if you want to have that troll fun mode, go in a normal game. Don't ruin other people's ranked games. You know, you won this game, but you had 18 deaths. That's ridiculous. Ellis told me to play Annie, so you listened. So you jungled Annie because Ellis said to play Annie no matter what. So right now, I will be honest. Again, I am thinking you're a troll. Like, that's my only way. If you're a human being with any form of, like, cognitive thinking, you have to be trolling, right? Like, you have to be. Like, you've got 15 games of Annie. You've got a 20% win rate. Your average deaths is 9.5. Your win rate on Rengar is 31%. Your win rate on Kayn is 33%. You have to be trolling. Like, I want to see what he says, because to me, this has to be a troll account. If it's a troll account, this makes sense, then there's just no point me doing this. But if you're not trolling, there's so much to do. A lot of it's just common sense. A lot of it is, like, you're just doing things that just don't make sense to the average person, because, you know, anybody. So firstly, don't play troll junglers. Don't listen to just, like... If someone is telling you, just play that, don't do it in its wrong position. Like, Annie's not a jungler. When someone gives you advice, listen to the advice, but know where the advice is coming from. LS is saying, play Annie, sure, but as a mid laner, like, she's not a jungler. LS would call you even worse things than I am, if that's what you're doing. But if we just kind of look, and again, it's a very small sample size to look at, drop Annie, drop Rengar, drop Kayn, drop Vi. Maybe hold on to Renekton because your KDA isn't bad, but your Darius doesn't look terrible. Your Nasus doesn't look terrible. So those are already 3 champions that you should be holding more on to than any of the other ones that you played more. These are not for you. Your Renekton doesn't seem bad. Pretty good farm overall. Your Darius seems hell good. 4 games, 4 victories with 366 farm on average. That's insane. So yeah, play Darius. Your Nasus looks really good. So when you're looking at like self-improvement, look at the champions that you're actually doing well with and drop the ones that you clearly don't know what you're doing. And don't, like, again, people say, what's the difference between me saying this and then LS saying, you know, play Annie? It's actually using your common sense when applying the advice. I'm telling you to play the champions that you have a track record of doing okay with in their correct position, but you're playing Annie in her incorrect position. That's not what LS is trying to tell you. He's saying Annie's basic, play her in mid lane, anybody can play her, she's fine. You're taking her into a role she doesn't belong. That's just trolling. So, yeah. You're scared of Darius. Yeah, but your track record can't lie. Like, you've got a 100% win rate on him with a not bad KDA. Again, the deaths are a little bit high. And your farm is insane. If that is correct, that number, which I'm actually doubting that's correct, but that is insane. So let's just end this segment by going, you have a lot to work on. But basically, the trolling needs to stop. If you want to have the really weird troll games of Jungle Annie, please don't ruin other people's games for it. Just use common sense. Be a little bit courteous about other people in ranked. So that's it. So my advice, really reduce the champions you're playing. A bronze 5 person shouldn't be jumping on different champions every single game. Doesn't mean you have to be a one trick, but there should be more examples of you playing the same thing in a row. There should be 3 games of Darius in a row. There should be 3 games of Renekton in a row. That's how you're going to get consistency. Where you jumping on a different champion every single game, you're never going to get consistency. So that's the big part. Second thing is just stop the trolling going on. Jungle Annie, you're just trolling people. So that just get rid of that. And those 2 things will probably help you big time. And what I'd say is do that. In a month's time, come back. We'll do another review. And we'll see if you changed it and see if you climbed. So that we'll leave it up there. Hopefully that will help. But there we go. All right, next up. Oh, damn, we've actually got quite a lot to do. I should probably record this. Wait, should I record this? It might actually make a good extra video. Oh, I can get it from the stream. All right, next up. Redbeard X. Right. So, Redbeard X is on North America as well. The last guy was on North America. Bronze, played ranked since Season 4. Bronze 4, Bronze 2, Silver 1, Silver 1. So, his last 2 seasons, he's not improved. So, that is one thing worth noting. Whenever you see a stagnation, when it's not incredibly high rating, it means that there are definite things that they can improve on that they're not. So, let's do it. So they are now in Silver 2. They do have a positive win rate, so that's a good sign. It means, you know, again, a lot of people in League have negative win rates. I think the average win rate in League is actually 49%. So you actually have got a positive, so that's something good. We'll actually update it because it's a little bit out of date just in case. Okay, it wasn't. Let's do ranked only. Okay, let's go through just some basics. So champions on the left, just the you know, over here. Gangplank, not bad. High deaths. Again, I'm just going to go through the very first things. 16 games, 63% win rate. Good. Still kind of high deaths. High deaths, high deaths, high deaths, high deaths, high deaths. Okay, so that's one thing we've noticed straight away. You can probably notice that yourself, but let's go through some recent games. So Fiddlesticks with a Smite and Ignite. I would not recommend that. Smite, Ignite, Fiddle is something that you'll see one tricks do. Because, like, again, a lot of people kind of get these kind of weird, quirky playstyles from one tricks. They're like, oh, the Challenger Fiddle one trick does that. That means it's really good. Not necessarily. That Challenger Fiddle one trick, as I've said time and time again, has got thousands of games on their specific champion, thousands of games with their specific playstyle. You don't. Play the more basic way when you're picking up a champion. The more you play a champion, then the more quirky thing you can do. That's something just very quick you want to note. So yeah, like Smite, Ignite, Fiddle, don't do that. Flash is very much your best friend when you're playing Fiddle if you don't 100% know what you're doing. And especially if you're playing it in ranked with rating on the line and other people's rating on the line and you've just picked the champion up. Be careful with it. I do just notice now you've got Unsealed Spellbook, so maybe you did have Flash and you changed it to Ignite, but I generally say Flash is your best friend as Fiddle. So just Jarvan gameplay. More Jarvan top lane, full damage. Darius with Ghost, not taking even teleport, which is a risky playstyle on Darius. So let me just 1 and 8, 8, 11, 7, 7. Okay, so high deaths. So yeah, the first thing obviously you can just note that everybody can probably see is you die way too much. You die. Yeah, so you die a lot without actually having a lot of involvement in the game. So when you're talking about having a decent chance to climb in League, you're generally looking, if you want to be the guy that's carrying, a kill participation over 60% is probably where you're looking at. Over 60% kill participation to have a good impact in the game. And that does change depending what role you're in, but let's just say on average 60%. Well, if you're looking here, 40%, 46%, nearly at the 60, 54, 40, 44, 11, 38, 36, 55, 34. You're not involved that much. So you're a top lane main that takes the whole island thing probably a little bit too seriously. Get involved more. I'm guessing, if I had to guess your general playstyle just by looking at your scores and your kill participation, I'm going to guess you love 1v1ing people and staying in top lane probably a little bit too much. If that is true, it's a playstyle, but then you're probably going to fall down the Hashinshin road of getting very frustrated very quickly. Even though he's a great player, obviously he does get very frustrated because that playstyle is dying out in League. You've got to adapt with how the game is going, otherwise frustration will occur. So I'd say get involved with your team more, group up in mid-game, and you'll have a bigger impact on winning, more control over the game. The more you're involved with your team, by the way, the more you're involved in the game, the more control you as a person, if you deserve to climb, the more likely you'll actually climb. So that's just one thing noting. So we've concluded that get involved more, also dying less, even if that means you get one less kill, it also means one less death. A lot of the time that is worth it, because if you give that enemy team a kill, and you're not a massive grouping person, but the enemy team who got a trade kill on you is, well, they're actually taking that advantage gold to team fights, and you may not. So that's worth noting. So the person who this profile is saying, yes, that is true, you like 1v1ing. It's why you picked up Kled and Sion for a while. They kind of forced you to help your team. That's a good idea. Again, sometimes picking up champions that actually force you to play in a certain way is fine. Like your Sion and Kled looks to be pretty good. Again, very high deaths. You need to control that. But if they are having more of an impact in the game in general, that's fine. Let's have a quick look at your champions, though, because, again, I have a funny feeling you've got too many champions. So, again, you've played 46 champions as a silver player. That is quite a lot of champions. Like, again, when you're actually looking at it, that's a third of the champions in League of Legends. There are 140 champs in League. You've played 46. That is quite a lot. And obviously, yes, a lot of these are just 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. But you've got to question, why did you just randomly pick this thing up? Did you do research on it? Do you know what you're doing on it? Because again, we can just generally have a little look. Your one game of Aatrox, 1 and 8. Your one game of Jax, 2 and 10. Your one game of Lux, 6 and 13. 5 and 12. 8 and 10. 6 and 15. So it looks like you're just randomly playing these champions without knowing what they do. So that is something that I would definitely compact. Don't do that. So that's obviously worth noting. Well, this is just... I'm pretty sure this is just ranked solo. Okay, there's a bit of flex going on, but again, we're talking about the player in general. Normal games aren't involved here. I've got normal games and everything involved. So yeah, there's no normal games that we're looking at. I do that on purpose. So generally, lower the deaths, even if it means you get less kills, it's better. Get more involved to get that kill participation up, which will give you more of a chance to carry in the game if you trust yourself to carry. And then thirdly, it does look like you are condensing your champion pool a little bit, but there is still quite a lot of like differences going on here. Like, there's 3 games of Java in there, that's good. There's a bit of Renekton in a row, but there are like just random things in between. Kindred, there isn't another Kindred game. Rise, you've got 2 losses as Rise. So I just say, have that random fiddle game. So if you are wanting to pick up new champions, make sure you're doing your research about them. Have consistency by, you are doing it a little bit by playing just similar champions kind of in a row. That will help you get better with the same champs. Lower your deaths and get involved more. So that's basically what I'd say. Do that again. Again, in a month's time, we'll come back, like I said before. Do what I say, see how it goes for you, and hopefully you'll have some improvement. So hopefully that will help. All right, next one. Here we go. Ithacus. Okay, so let's just update it so it's up to date. So hopefully what I will say, if you're watching these, hopefully a lot of you will see similarities between your profiles and like what you do and what I'm saying. So even if you're not having these op.gg breakdowns, well, you can apply it to yourself. Ithacus, EU West, in the top 89%, bronze 3. Slightly negative win rate. Oh yeah, what was the win rate of Redbeard? That was positive, wasn't it? Okay, yeah. Negative win rate, which isn't a good sign, obviously, because if you're wanting to climb, you need that generally positive win rate to get your MMR in a good place. Okay, so let's break some just basic stuff down. Got it set to ranked solo only. We can actually do ranked solo only. Okay, so let's go over here first. So champions played. First is your Vel'Koz. You're nearly at, obviously, my 20 rule, which is when 20 games occur on a champion is when you should kind of decide, is it for you or not? Right now, if we just say you lost or won the next game, it's not going to make much of an impact. You have near enough of 50% win rate. Your KDA actually is very good, but what this is telling me is that you're not using your advantage to win as Vel'Koz. So KDA basically means nothing if you're not winning. So you may be like, I'm a not bad Vel'Koz, but you always have to be very careful with making sure you're actually using your damage, using your lead to win the game, whether that's getting the pick at the right time. Like, again, you could be getting kills when they don't really matter, but if you get kills at the right time, that's when you can gain your advantage, that's when you can win games. Your Jinx actually seems to be pretty good. 13 games, really good KD. One thing that we can actually notice straight away between these last two profiles, if someone else might have noticed it, look at the deaths. 3, 3, basically 2, 3, 5. Between the last profile, look how the death difference is. This is really good. So for a Bronze 3 player, I'd actually say be really happy with actually how little you die. That's really good. So that is something that you definitely hold on to. Keep that playstyle going, because basically it means that you are never giving the enemy team a lot of gold. And that's something that I always strive for, you know, as myself, is lower the amount of deaths that I give, even if that means I don't get that one other kill, and it lowers the enemy's chance of winning as well. So that's really good. So well done. That's a tick. So we got Ziggs, 45% win rate, but really good KD, 50 KD. So even though the deaths are low, and that's good, I can basically see that you may play a bit too much for KD. So your KDs are really, like, if you look at these average KDs, nearly 5, 5.5, 4, they're all great. But negative win rate, 50% win rate. Obviously not a lot of games, but potentially you need to maybe, even though the deaths are really good and low, potentially there are some times, and again, I can't say this for 100% certainty because I can't see you play, but maybe there's team fights that you could be playing a bit more risky and you just run away going, I'm not dying. So potentially that is a problem. And he's saying in Twitch that, yes, I'm a cautious player, so you don't always fight or push when you should. So yeah, that's just something that I noticed right away. And again, if I'm noticing that, obviously you know about it. And that's why I guess these OP.GGs can work if someone knows what they're doing. I could tell that you're that type of player by just simply looking what's going on here. Your KDs are great, but your win rates are negative, which means you're not heavily involved in winning or losing. So there you go. Let's just have a quick look at the champion. So yeah, you've only got 5 games played. I actually gonna give you a clap for that. Even though it's not a crazy amount of games, you are limiting your champion pool, which in effect is limiting the amount of risk that you're giving in. So if you love these 5 champions, continue playing them. Get a little bit more involved. The deaths are still okay, but get more involved, play a little bit more risky, and then go from there. You need to use your advantages of winning. So if you're, let's just say you're 6 kills, 3 deaths on Jinx, you're strong. Use that lead, where right now I can see you being the type of player going, right, I'm positive KD, we can try to win the game. Enemy team is pushing in, I can't go close to that, I'm going to die, and they're just going to end. So it's potentially you have to play a little bit more risky if you do obviously want to try and win. The actual games themselves, though, we haven't really gone over items that much, obviously, in these reviews, because a lot of the advice has been too basic that you just had to, like, so far, the people that we've done, they just have to do some very basic stuff, but item build. Sorry. Everything looks fine. Let's just take one example and see what your build is and just see if you generally know what you're doing with the build. Okay. So, first item is Luden's, yes. Zhonya's, yes. Yeah, you know what you're doing. Build's fine. Again, sometimes you watch people build stuff and you're just like, what are they doing? Going off this one game, I think you're fine. So that's alright. So yeah, my general advice, and again, you're saying, yeah, that's basically me, is you need to get more involved. You have to be less KDA warrior and more I want to win. And that will probably help. Because it does seem that you're doing fine, but you're just not using that to win the game. So there you go. Alright, so next up, Again, come back in a month's time. We're going to start doing these op.gg reviews more often because it does actually seem that the Twitch chat is really enjoying it, which is great to see. We do have someone that I haven't done. Is it that guy? Yep. This might be the last one, or there may be one or two more. We'll see. Okay. North America. Gold 5. Not the best profile to review, I'm going to be honest. So, Jax Huh. This is, you know, up to you, my friend, if you wanted it. But you've got basically no games. In his message, he goes, just came back to League. Not many games to go off, but I am a two-trick pony with Vlad and Fiora. That is a really weird combo. I found those champions fun to play. That comes first with me, but I also want to get better. Okay, fair enough. I will say it's an interesting choice to go Vladimir and Fiora. Usually, if you want to be a one-trick pony, two-trick pony, three-trick pony, usually there are some similarities with those champions. Usually, you know, if you play Vladimir, your skills on Vladimir will technically help you, let's say, get better at Swain, because they share similarities. Your champions don't do that at all. So if you get better at Fiora, it is not helping you get better at Vlad. If you're getting good at Vlad, it is not helping you get better at Fiora. So that's just one thing to note. But again, you said fun is like your ultimate, so that's fine. That's just one thing I just want to point out, is that your champions are not helping each other in the grand scheme of things. But again, there's not a whole lot I can go off, because I can't go into really in-depth serious stuff when you've only got like 20 games played. But let's go into it just a little bit. So the first obviously thing is negative win rate on the Vladimir. That's not a good sign. Obviously, if you're a one-trick, two-trick, you need to be consistent with your champion specifically. So that's obviously just one thing. And your Fiora, not terrible. But both of you, if you're a 1-2 trick, you need those win rates to be a lot higher. If those are the only champs you're playing, your consistency should be pretty high with them. Again, the past few profiles that we've been doing reviews on, one of the biggest advice I had is, oh, play the same champion 2 or 3 times in a row to get consistency. You're already doing that, obviously, because you're a 1-2, well, you're a 1/2 trick pony, so 3 Fiora games. To Vladimir, Fiora, Vladimir, Vladimir, Vladimir. So you should be building that consistency, which should make your games better overall. So that's fine. But we need that performance, obviously, to go up. And like I said earlier, the general rule of thumb for me, if you want to know that you should be climbing, you deserve to climb, your general kill participation should be roughly 60% kill participation. 19, 60, so you're there. 30, 42, 38, 23, 52, 32, 64, you're there. 52, 15, 31, 45. Really low kill participation. So you are, again, being trapped on that island. You're the Shinshin on his top lane, being frustrated when his team does bad. But if you as a top laner took the initiative and go, I'm grouping, that kill participation goes up, your control over the game goes up, and Bob's your uncle, you'll probably have more control and win more. So that's one thing worth note. Second thing is the Twitch chat has pointed out, controlled wards are lacking. I'm somebody that doesn't buy a lot of control wards, but I do recommend to do so. So you have whole games that 0 control wards, 0 control wards, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. No control wards. You need to up that. Vision is what wins and loses games a lot of the time, especially in top lane if you don't know a jungler is going to gank or not, that type of thing. Next thing, last hitting. I know obviously I'm one to talk. My last hitting is generally the weakest thing of my game when I'm recording. My last hits are a lot better when I'm not recording. But if you're looking at, again, if you're wanting like a consistency good climb, again, we're talking gold 5 here, so we're not talking crazy a lot. Probably between like 5 to 6 CS per minute on average is okay. So some games you are definitely hitting that fine. So 5, 6, but then there are games 3.7, there's a 7. So like you are hitting it on a lot of games, but just make sure like it's becoming consistent. That's all I'd say. Again, the more CS you get, the more gold you have, the more chance you can have to carry. Again, a lot of people don't realize the lower rating you go, gold is what's going to give you majority of your minions are going to give you the majority of your gold. Some people on Twitch are going, no, 7 minions per average. Again, this isn't diamond. This is gold 5. You don't need to have like perfection, really high CS averages when the game isn't demanding that from you. The game changes depending what rating you're in. Obviously, again, just to note that Udyr, oh, it was played in ranked. That's random. So there you go. So my advice to you overall, again, it is hard to give someone advice that's got very little games, and I also don't love giving advice to one tricks because you play a champion for a specific reason. You really enjoy these champions, but from an outsider, to me, it is just a little bit weird seeing the Vladimir and the Fiora mix. Because like I said earlier, they don't help each other out. You're being good at Fiora doesn't make you a good Vladimir, and being a good Vladimir doesn't make you a good Fiora. So I don't know if it's worth picking up a different champion instead of one of them that's more similar, like Fiora and, I don't know, Aurelia, they're more similar, or Swain and Vladimir, more similar, because playing those champions will raise your level on both. So that's just worth noting. So that's my general advice. Again, I can't really give that much more because you've got very little games played, but hopefully that does help. Right, is there any more to do? We may have like one more or two more. I think Rosie, you potentially want one. And that might be it, potentially. I think. Yeah. Is it Rosie Alpaca? Is that the name? I don't remember. I think so. Rosie Alpaca. Wait, that's in North America. Change to EU West. Okay, this might be the last one. Rosie Alpaca. Okay. Yeah. Rank solo, rank solo. How can I review a page that has got no rank games? Yeah, I can't really, if you've got no ranked history, I can't really do a review. Like, I can go over some basics here, but it's hard to kind of see what's happening if you've got 0 ranked games going on. So while you answer, because obviously there's a delay on the stream, win rate on Trish looks good, obviously being the strongest AD carry. Negative win rate Twitch, 67%, not bad. Calista, but she is arguably the worst AD carry at the moment that I would never recommend for low rating. 2, 2, 1. There should be some. Well, again, there's only normal games, so yeah, there's no ranked games going on at all. So obviously, Silver 2, negative win rate, not a great sign. But it seems that your strengths definitely are these two champions, Calista and Tristana. Obviously, Tristana just generally being the best AD carry probably at the moment. She's safe, she's strong, so continue playing her. Your Calista is really good, and the win rate is great. So if you have enjoyment on that and you're having success, continue playing it by all means. But I just be a little bit careful. Calista is a champion that most Diamond AD carries get wrong. So when you're playing in Silver 2, I don't trust people in Silver. When I just did my unranked Diamond, I haven't... Calista is donated at the moment. I'm not playing it at the moment. And we've still got Platinum 3 MMR. I still don't trust supports when I'm playing Calista in Platinum 3. So that is just something that is up to you personally. If you are confident with it, keep playing it. And that's where you can go. Again, that's where coaches and people that are giving you advice literally don't matter. Is if you are having enjoyment out of it, if you're doing well on it, just play it. It's that simple. And you seem to be doing fine. Your KD is very good. So obviously, again, I'm not a massive fan of telling people to just be like a 1 or 2 trick. I don't think it's a very good thing to do. But AD carries are a little bit weird. AD carries are very similar to one another. So if you get good on one AD carry, like the last profile, if you get good at Fiora, you're not getting good at Vladimir. But if you're getting good at Calista, you are actually getting better at Twitch. You are actually getting better at Tristana. AD carries are very similar to each other. So if you do one, if you play one, if you do well on one, you'll do well on generally all of them. So that's fine. Being a 1 or 2 trick as AD carries, it doesn't hurt you as much as other areas in the game. So if you want to just simply climb, continue playing Tristana and Calista, obviously. Your last hit seemed pretty good. On average, or the champions that you play a considerable amount of, over 200 farm on average, nearly 200, nearly 300, over 200. That's fine. KDs are actually pretty good. Yeah. What I'd say is I'm guessing you're just more comfortable. Yeah, you're just a comfort player. Basically, you've got your 1 or 2 champions that you're very comfortable with. You probably know what you're doing at each part of the game. Therefore, you're just doing really well on those 2 champions. Because I would say, I'm going to guess that your Twitch isn't as comfortable as your Tristana or Callista. Therefore, your KDA is good, but sometimes you probably aren't taking those decisions as Twitch to probably end the game. So yeah, that's what I'd say. So it's fine. You know, it's not terrible. The win rate obviously is not great, but you haven't played hardly at all, so it's hard to judge, again, off a profile that isn't really playing. So yeah, that's what I'd say. Anyway, is that it? Unless, while we were doing all this, did any tier 2 Twitch subs happen? I'm not sure. I don't think so. Alright, I think that may be it. So, if you guys enjoyed this, then obviously let me know. I enjoyed doing it. It's a lot of information. It's a lot of information tucked into, like, a small part. And again, you can't take what I'm saying 100% seriously. I'm not going to, like, pretend you should. Because this is all statistics. This is all numbers. Numbers don't tell the full story. In-game does. If I was spectating you, it does. And I am trying to bring back the Spectate series. We are just having some very big problems with it right now. But yeah, so from all the people that, you know, got advice, listen to it. If you agree with it, do it. If you don't agree with it, that's fine. It's up to you. I'm not here to dictate. I'm not here to tell you, like, 100%. But, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed.